Thank you so much for being on the podcast. It's so good to see everybody. Every one of you guys have been a guest on the podcast. And I'm so excited about this time. We've talked about this. We've talked about this, how we're all going to come together, and then we canceled so many times. And this is actually happening. So I don't know if everybody, we're just going to introduce ourselves, so we'll just start with Eric on the bottom. Right here, Eric on the bottom. You want to introduce yourself, Eric?
Yeah, I am Eric Glenn. I've been in education for a little over 20 years, but in the classroom as a classroom teacher for about 16. I teach middle school math, but before that I taught high school in places like juvenile hall and schools like that where students get like out of jail and they come to like the school.
Thank you. Mosh, you're here. Thank you for coming.
Hey, I'm Mosh. So I was a classroom teacher and special education teacher, general education teacher for 12 years, and I've been in special education related spaces for now 15. The last 2 years, I've been full-time doing advocacy and instructional coaching. I was an instructional coach for 13 years now, sometimes not with the district, sometimes privately hired by teachers who want help or brought in to help folks. And I've been in disability organizing since I was 14, so I'm very excited to be here with some of my favorite people that I've seen on the podcast.
Yes, and Laura, how are you, Miss Laura?
I am tired, but I'm here. I'm excited. I know it's finally happening. I was having tech difficulties, and I was thinking to myself, please work. And I'm glad I was able to make it. I am Laura. I have been a dual immersion teacher this is my 13th year now. Since I started teaching, I started in the dual immersion program. And if you don't know what that is when students learn in both languages, Spanish and English, they learn content. So they're not learning to speak another language. They are learning content in those two languages. So I've been teaching sixth grade for about, 9 years now. And it's been my favorite. That's why I'm still there. So yeah, it's been great, and I'm really excited to be here with all of you.
Awesome. And all of you guys have been a guest on the podcast. And we've all found each other on TikTok, which is pretty crazy. We've all found each other on TikTok, and I've seen everybody's account grow, and that's exciting as well. This journey of putting out content and then just seeing where it goes and where it takes us. And, I don't know. I do want to start there. I'm going to ask you guys, and whoever wants to jump in. But you've gone from no followers to where you guys are now, from nobody listening to any of the videos you had. And now you got a following, and you got, things are moving in a positive direction in that sense. How has social media, has it affected your life? Has it changed you in any bit? Anything like that? Anybody?
I have leverage with my kids. Sorry, Eric.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I made a TikTok account to connect with students during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And that was that. I mean, I was trying every single thing to connect with students, playing video games, doing these like hangouts, like after virtual school. And TikTok was just one of those ones because they asked me to do the one chip challenge on a TikTok from my house, and I did it. I recorded it, I posted it, and everybody was kind of excited, and I ended up, connecting with them that way. And then it just was, when we went back to school, it just became another way that I can connect with students. And now we had something in common with social media. And then it just, it just kind of ballooned with a few viral videos. And now it seems like I have I have a way of sharing my views and sharing my philosophies on teaching, and more people are listening. So it's really cool.
That's good. How about you, Mosh?
I never got into social media to go viral. I don't consider myself an influencer. I don't consider myself a content creator. I consider myself an educator. And what is really odd is I will go to meetings and superintendents or directors of special education will be like, "Is this you? Is this you? Did you say this?" And I'll be like, "Sure did." Or families find me, teachers find me, and the other piece that's kind of complicated sometimes is that they feel like they have a really parasocial relationship because I only post really like educational stuff, informational things for the most part. I don't really talk a lot about like my personal life or things like that, but people really feel like they know you and they feel very connected. And it's like at least once a week I'm meeting with someone who is melting down crying like, "Oh my god, I watched your video." And I'm like, "This is so weird. I'm not Oprah. Like I have a tiny I have a tiny slice of the internet, right? Like I don't judge people who monetize, don't monetize, whatever. My account's just like very, very focused. It's very like niche on just being really good at giving both teachers and parents information about kids with disabilities and how we could do better for them. But it's so odd. And then the other thing that happened is kids that I lost track of found me and they're now adults. So I am still in touch with over 300 of my families that I've served.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and then some of them I lost track of. Like, over the years, like someone falls out of contact, out of touch, and they're adults, and so many of them have their own kids now, and they find me on social media, and that's like a really positive way for me to hear like all the things that they're doing, and they tell me how much I, nagged them in the past and how it worked. It worked, and now they're successful.
It's good. It's good. Miss Laura.
I think for me, I started with Eric, similar to Eric in the pandemic. I started posting just little silly videos for my kids during the pandemic. And then it became a thing, right? Then I started posting just like teacher content. And then I started posting a bunch of other stuff. Unlike Mosh, whose content is very curated, mine is all over the place because, aside from being a teacher, I'm a mom. I love baking. I have hobbies, and I just throw everything out there. Um, Recently, because of my son, and then Mosh helped me a little bit with the process when we got started. Um, he's on an IEP. He was diagnosed with autism. And navigating through that world, I realized that the families who are like my family, like my parents, who only speak Spanish, if I am an educated person going into these meetings and I felt extremely overwhelmed
Yeah.
after with all the information, vocabulary wise, and me being in education, it just kind of motivated me to create a few videos talking about the process of the IEP, the whole IEP process, what a 504 plan is, and just simply putting it out there for people to maybe get some sort of information. I've connected with a lot of families, and they're so sweet. They send me messages like, "God bless you. I was looking at your videos." And I did not expect that to come
Mm,
from those videos. I just posted information in Spanish. That is, I feel like I'm not even doing much, but I feel like for other people it's a lot because I've gotten responses to my videos like, "You break it down so well. I can understand it. Like,
that's good.
I understand what you're telling me." It's like, you know, um so I think that side of, and I think that's when my page started growing a little bit more. um but I just love the connection that I've made with people from all over. And
That's
Can I
awesome.
also
yeah.
brag about Laura because there's not a lot of Spanish speaking IEP resources out there. And Laura has made like a ton of videos about like,
Hmm.
here's what the definition of this is. This is what you say to your school team. And there's just not a ton for families that are monolingual Spanish speakers. And so like truly has been like a godsend. I get to, well, one, I check, did Laura say the right thing? And she always does because she does her homework. And then I send her videos to families that message me because my Spanish is not great. So I'm very grateful that she started making that content too.
And I was so excited when I hit 10K because I can curate my content into playlists. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." So now my content is all over the place, but my IUP stuff is like front and center of those playlists. So
That's awesome. And you're almost at 20K. You're almost at
Yeah,
20K, and 20K. You jumped like 10K in a few months or something like
yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah. It was crazy because I was like, oh my gosh, 10K seems like so far away. And then it was 10K and then 11, and then 12, and then 13. And now I'm like, okay, what is going on?
that's good. That's good. People are really connecting with your content. That's what's going on. That's what's happening. For me, I made, like Eric was saying, during the pandemic, I started making TikToks, and I just started talking about how to build relationships with students with difficult behavior. And that's all it was, which is how do I build relationships? That's what I was doing. And I felt like I've been going through these cycles of like, okay, what exactly do I want to do? What is it that I'm actually trying to do here? What is it? And it really boils down to how to build relationships with students with difficult behavior, making sure that this doesn't feel like a job, making sure that I'm being authentic and not copying somebody else's content, piggybacking somebody else's thing. It's like, no, I'm just gonna do my thing. Here I am in the gym. This is my dog. This is me talking about how to build relationships. Here's me in the car. Here's me making this podcast. And it's really just focused, like, okay, I'm gonna stay in my lane, do me, and that's all I'm gonna do. And so by doing that, I feel like I've grown my social media, and I've lost followers as well at the same time. So I'm shedding who probably maybe at first they were like I'm with it, but then afterward they're like I'm not really with him anymore, and then that's perfectly fine because I'm just trying to find who really is with this, who really is with this idea of building relationships with students with difficult behavior. And that's who I'm writing with. And I've seen like I'll gain like a bunch of new followers and I'll lose followers just as quickly as I gain followers. That's just that fast. And so I feel like I'm in a good space right now where I'm getting the people that want to stay, the people that want to hear it. And so that's been and it's funny when I go to places where it's like I don't know, a teacher conference, somewhere where I will be recognized. I always feel weird. I always
Mm-hmm.
feel weird. I don't know how to act. I don't even want to look at people in the eyes because, yeah, I don't know how to act. And then people come up to me and they're like, "Oh, aren't you the guy?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." And I'm not really this outgoing type of person. I like to be invisible. Like I like the idea of being invisible. And so I'm like, yeah, it's me, and it just feels weird. It feels odd. I have to get used to that. And then the idea that this always crosses my mind that I'm already judged ahead of time. So either you're for me, you're with me with some things I say, you're not with me, and so I don't know where you stand when you approach me. I don't know where you stand. So that idea crosses my head as well. But it's been a interesting ride. It's helped me be creative. It's helped me just I could pull up a camera and just be like blah, 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 done, send. It's helped me. I've been really getting better at that, So, and I like that skill. But I've enjoyed the ride, and we'll see where it takes. Look, we're all here together. This is where it's taking it. This is interesting, right? So that's where I'm at. What's up, Eric? Go ahead.
I kind of wish that more people would just swipe, right? Like, it feels like the people who should just swipe are the people who are commenting sometimes. And I wish the people who were with me, obviously stayed with me, but the people who weren't with me would just kind of move on.
Yeah, like I ignore all that nonsense. Like for the most part, I ignore it. I ignore it until like most recently, there was one that just kept on, just kept
Okay,
on.
okay. But did you see? I have to send it to you because that same person tried to ask me a question, and I stay so calm, cool, and collected. I eviscerated this person,
Oh,
and
I
I'm
know.
so proud. I'm like, I sleep with my conscience clear. I was like, you come for all of my teacher mutuals, like, get a
Mark
life.
got your back, John.
I will like always have John's back. Like, get out of here. I was like, how are you just going around to different teachers' accounts and making like random troll things? And I think social media is a weird thing as an educator because we have this one type of relationship where we talk and people listen in the classroom or in PD or whatever, right? And then social media is different because you don't know who's listening. Like the algorithm changes, and then like randomly I'll be like, you hate me. Why are you following me? Why are you commenting? Why are you doing this stuff? People have said and done horrible things for me, and I'm assuming for y'all as well, like threats of doxing or actually doxing people or calling your employer, or like whatever. And I'm like, scroll, just scroll, go outside, touch grass, call your mom, pick up a book. I don't know. Like it's so interesting the way that educators that are sticking up for values, even if I don't perfectly always agree, we don't always have to agree. As long as you're for kids, I'm down. I'm two thumbs up. We don't have to have everything in agreement. But it's like it starts to feel like, oh, this is kind of scary because some of these people are teachers. Some of these people who are coming into your comment sections and they're like saying some of this horrific stuff, whether it's ripping apart that you're not a real teacher because of racism, or they're ripping apart the fact that you're saying something that's making them think differently. They're just, I'm like, you're spending a lot of time as an educator carrying around that kind of like animosity toward other people in your field is like, I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like a pressure cooker of like a bomb waiting to go off, and you get online and you're anonymous and you're in people's comment sections.
Yep, that's right. How do you feel about that, Laura? Same.
Yeah, I feel like I'm very nonchalant about the negatives. It is what it is, and people are, like Mosh said, they can just scroll, but they choose not to, and then they swear they don't care, and it's like, okay, if you really didn't care, you wouldn't. You like, what are you doing? Why are you in my comments? You don't care.
Yeah.
Scroll on by, go away.
It's interesting. It's
And
interesting.
somebody said, oh, this type of whatever, I'm calling your employer, call them. My principal, they follow me,
Yeah.
they're call them, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, that last post, Eric. Everybody was all in your comments, Eric.
Yeah. Those are. I don't know. I don't know. Like, and I have. There's nothing like a post that where you state a hot take in education with with not as much explanation to get people talking. But I almost see myself as, and my wife and I have talked about this. I see myself as almost like the Bernie Sanders of education. I don't know, like that's where I'm going to push. I'm going to push the conversation way to the other side, just so the conversation will move at least to the center. And I think that's when I give like hot takes like that, that's really the goal is to get people talking about it and not be in their own little echo chambers, teacher echo chambers, and I think that hearing a different perspective, and I feel like I have a unique perspective given my experience, in juvenile hall and things like that. And because of that, I think that I can share some controversial opinions and hopefully move the dial just a teensy bit, and that's really what I think when I do those posts.
Eric, I want to ask you, how do you change people's opinions online? And you said, I don't
You,
think I do.
that's a thing. It, and I admit too that it's hard to change my opinion on things. I definitely think a lot about what people say, and I consider what they say, and it's still hard for me to change my opinion. Uh, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think that. Again, I don't think I'm getting people to agree with me. I think that I'm trying my hardest to push the conversation, to push the dial just a little bit, just over, and get them to think a little bit differently than
But do teachers ever reach out to y'all? I know they reach out to John for sure and say like, you did change my mind, because teachers reach out to me all the time. I have meetings multiple times a week with special education teachers, general education teachers, administrators who are like, you helped connect the dots and I actually need to like do this thing. Tell me how to do this thing. Hey, you said this thing and I need to know how to make it happen. And I know all of you have gotten something like that at some point.
Yeah.
I know, John,
Yeah,
you get it a
absolutely.
lot. from teachers who were like, "Wow, you've really changed my mindset." But I think that's like a big success, even if you are able to have that ripple effect onto one person who's in education in some way.
For me, when I make the content, it's really what I truly believe. Like I'm just putting out stuff that I truly believe. Like everything that I put out there is what I believe 100%. Whether, like I said, if it's my dog content or if it's my gym content or if it's me talking about how to build relationships, I truly believe in that stuff and I put it out there. And um, I think that and I don't argue with people in the comments. I try, like there's deep down inside I'm really ghetto. Like deep down inside I'm really like if my roots my
Not
roots
15
are
bucks. I've literally said it. I'm like, do you know where I'm from? Like,
my,
I'm like, do you know
yeah,
who my family is? What?
my roots are ghetto roots or like I and so when I see this stuff I'm like, no, this is not going to help out. This is not going to help out arguing with this person. It's not going to help out and I'm just going to move on. And I'm just gonna, because my goal is to change somebody's life. My goal is to help educators. My goal is, and I know what my goal is, and so that's what keeps me focused, and that's what I think that's what helps me connect with some of the educators that do say like, "Oh, Miss Vergara, thank you so much. You've helped me out. I've been following you for the last whatever year or so, and I've been following some of the things you say, and it's helped me out my class. Oh yeah, thank you." And so I think that's helped me, and I plan to stick to that for however long I'm on social media. Just stick to this one plan. I said this to somebody the other day. Whether I get zero, whatever, I get like 5 likes on a video or 1,000 likes on a video. It doesn't even matter. It's just putting out the one thing that I want to say that moment. Like, this is important. I need to say this right now. Bam, there it is. And then move on and just move on. And so that's what's worked for me. And I do get people saying thank you for what you've helped me out. And I think it's just because I stick to that plan. Yeah.
Yeah, I could, yeah, 100%. Everything you said, because I'm ghetto too.
Yeah.
It's like, first of all, I was born in Mexico, okay? Second of
Yeah.
all, I was raised in the ghetto. It's in me, okay? I'm an educated person, but don't mess with me. Uh,
Laura's a quiet gangster. Okay,
Hmm.
quiet.
I sure
Hmm.
am. I
Like,
sure
like
am.
keeps it.
I will. Yeah, I will roll up my sleeves, hold my hoops. But yeah, I feel like, and I've done a lot of work through therapy, and giving my energy to people is is just not even worth it. Like, if I am not going to entertain it just because it's doesn't deserve my energy. So that's also kind of where I'm
Yeah.
focusing on the positive, and just like I said earlier, the families that have messaged me, moms who are desperate, and parents have messaged me like, can I make an appointment with you? And I'm just like, I this is not my line of work. This is not my profession. I just share
But
what
when
I
you're
know.
ready, I will get you started.
So
When you're
Hmm.
I
ready, I
share
got
what
you.
I know, and message me. Please message me and I will respond. In every message, I just say, just know that what I'm telling you is coming from a mom to a mom, not from, any other place. Take it as you will. But my messages are always open, and families have reached out and they said, oh, thank you so much. And just that that's all. That's all I
Eric,
need.
Eric, I do understand your point of view of pushing the envelope, though. I do want to say that you've pushed the envelope when it came to the fires in Altadena. You pushed the envelope in the phone conversation. You've pushed the envelope a lot in different areas, and it's I see what you're doing. I see
Hmm.
what you're doing.
For sure. It takes a lot of energy, though. I don't know how you feel with pushing back like that. Like you're saying, you're trying to push the conversation. I feel like it takes a lot of energy. I have a toddler. I cannot like I cannot entertain anything that's going to drain my energy, because he gets 100% of mom
Yeah.
when I come home, and yeah.
The fire videos definitely had that impact on people, as far as me speaking out and giving at least another voice, to and another perspective on the fires, because as a teacher you have this perspective, and you have these kids who come in after, into school, who have just lost everything, all of their physical possessions, in a fire, and giving a voice to that, and giving a voice to them as their teacher, really did impact a lot of people, and had people coming to me through my messages, and saying thank you. I also used my platform during that time to raise money for some of the families that I know, and a lot of them, got a lot of money through those,
It's
and
good.
those videos got a lot of views, which was really special. You never know with social media how widespread your videos are going to go, but that caused news outlets, to contact me, and I was on the news a few times, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh, I was I, there's this documentary, that's being made about one of our runners, from SRLA, and I don't know. I've been interviewed for it, but it's mostly about him and some other students from the district. Um, but that was really nice. It was really nice to see that I could actually make an impact with my social media, because when the fire happened, all I really wanted to do was go back to work. All I really wanted to do was get back into the classroom, because that's how I thought I could help the most. Um, and I was curled up on the couch in kind of a fetal position, just really depressed, because there was a lot of survivor's guilt, because I live probably a half a mile away from the closest house fire, um, and our house survived. There was a lot of just like thinking about students, and thinking about what they were going through, thinking about families, and them moving around from place to place to place to place to place, and um, the social media of it all gave me some purpose,
Yeah.
and that was really special.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. When I was watching your videos, I was like, man, Eric is doing something out here. He's doing something right here. And I think that like before, when I would watch your videos at the very beginning, they were like funny. They were like handshakes and like, just like that kind of stuff. But then you found a different groove. Like it was a different thing and started to be a little just different. And I was like, oh, he's pushing the envelope here.
It
And
turned.
I would see you in other people's comments. Like I would see a video, like it might be some other video, and I go into the comments. I was like, "Oh, look at there's Eric, there's Eric right there."
We don't have kids. We have a dog, and both of us work, and so I do find myself having a little more time and a little more energy to put into that kind of stuff. Um, I admit that I need to cool off on responding to comments in my own videos. I need to just kind of let that stuff go, but it's so hard for me. I don't,
Yeah,
I it's hard. It's hard to take the vitriol from some teachers and be like, I'm just going to take that, you know. Uh, so yeah, no, and I have learned to. I've gotten better, I think, over the years at not commenting on other people's videos, but if I have an opinion on what they said, to make my own video, instead, and kind of just share my views that way, and share my. I don't know if it's a disagreement or if it's an agreement, but I feel like my videos have always been whatever's on my mind at the time. It's
yeah,
almost like a journal. And like Laura, I'll post videos of my vacation, and
yeah,
I'll post videos of my dog, and I'll
yeah.
post
Your
videos.
your summer.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a lot of fun too. And so it's not just it's not just the pushing the envelope, but sometimes that's just what's on my mind, and if it's on my mind, I'm gonna be myself. I'm just gonna be
Absolutely.
who I am. And
Could I ask you this one question, Eric? And this has nothing to do with what you're talking about right now. You just mentioned your videos during vacation. You were staying at some what was it, that one place where you opened up your curtain? It was a baseball field.
yes, yes.
Where
So
where is that?
that was in Toronto. That was
That was amazing.
in Canada. I've always wanted to stay at that hotel since I was a young, like since I was young, and that was a long time ago.
It looked like AI.
I'm sorry.
It looked fake. Yeah.
Like
No, no, it
AI.
was not AI. And look, there was a lot of things that had to go right during that video at the time, and I do not want to give away some of the magic. But I had the kids had a field day with it because they're like, Mr. Glenn, you're on House of Highlights. You're on House of Highlights. You're famous, Mr. Glenn. And that was really fun. It's really fun to connect with the students that way because, I think that social media for them is a big thing, and having them see their. I think a lot of them, and a few of them have come and talked to me, and they said, when you make videos over the summer, it reminds me of school.
Yeah.
And it reminds me that you're still, around, and that you still, and it reminds me of being with you, and that's really special as well.
That's good.
So,
That's good.
no, I don't want to give away. Look, I will give you all of the secrets to that video after
Off camera. and Mosh, you're a keynote speaker now. You're a keynote speaker.
You don't have to compare it to what Eric's doing. It's fine.
No. I'm bringing it up. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I did a keynote. It's good. I talk all over the country. It's cool. I think it's so interesting because it's so interesting that no teacher that I know doesn't have a social media presence, but whether they have a account where they post like themselves versus like they have an account so they can like scroll and watch content. But like our kids at this point, I don't think they've ever known a life where they didn't have social media access from a very early age. And it changes things. Like they can see y'all outside of school. They can see you outside of the confines, like the box that they're used to seeing you in. It changes things. You can also, and I know I've stumbled upon, oh my God, that's my student's account. Block, scroll, whatever. Text their mom. Hey, like, why does your 10-year-old have a TikTok? Right? Like, I think it's just a very different era that we're in that has like positives and negatives.
Yeah.
I think for all the benefits, I struggle with the drawbacks of social media personally. I think like in terms of how much information is being gathered on us, how much stuff in terms of privacy is being gathered, how unsafe people are being, whether it's kids or adults on the internet. But I think it's something that is unprecedented that you can go on your phone and see what your teacher did over the summer. You could see that your teacher's or your principal is working out at 5 in the morning and eating 160 grams of protein. Is it?
So I try to do it.
That's insane.
Every day. I think about you.
I try to do it.
Every day. I'm like 3 eggs. Okay. Right. It's like it's very different, and there's no handbook for this. Like, and I mean, there's handbooks that we get as educators or as administrators or consultants or whatever. Like, don't friend students, don't friend your parents. But like, I run into complex relationships where parents follow their kids' teachers, right? And then they feel like they have more access to their kids' teacher than they do, and the relationships are not as clear. The expectations are kind of different and blurred, and then like there's a family aspect too of it, not just the kids themselves. Like the parents are seeing us more than they would normally see us, right? Like you would go home, you'd be like, okay, see ya, I'm out till Monday, and now they're like seeing what you're doing on the weekend if you choose to post that stuff. I'm kind of curious, like, because we were all in the classroom before this was a reality, and now it's the norm. Like, does it feel different?
I feel like a celebrity. I'm not gonna lie, because I think when I hit 10K, my kids flipped. They were bonkers. They were like, Miss Vasquez, you hit 10K, and running down the hallway, yelling, Miss
That's
Vasquez, you
funny.
hit 10K. And I'm just like, oh my God. Um, and the kids, I joke around all the time with them, and I'm like, what's up today? Actually, one of my kids brought up TikTok, and then I was like, what is that? What's a TikTok? What's that? And then the other, like, they roll their eyes, like, she has an account. We've seen it,
Hmm.
but I just like nonchalantly, like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Then I used to joke that it was my twin sister, and then the kids are like, "Oh, so she has the same classroom as you?" Yep, everything's the same. She's just me. She's just like me, and it's a fun way, like Eric was saying, to connect with the kids. But I do set very firm boundaries, especially like in the class. Um, when the kids are like, Miss Vasquez, I saw your and I'm just like, we're not talking about that right now. That's not what we're talking about right now. So it's not like a topic that is constantly, being brought up, because I draw the line. Like, we're not talking about that right now.
When you mentioned boundaries though with parents, and they have connection to see what you do on the weekend,
Yeah,
and connection to send you a message when normally that wasn't the case
they don't
years
though.
in back. That
They
idea though,
haven't.
that idea though, like I've had parents send me messages like, oh, I'm a parent at this school. Oh, okay, what time is this happening? Stuff like that.
No.
Like, oh, can I just message you on social media? Well, this is a phone call. This is a phone call, and they're like, "Oh, can I just message you on social media instead of?" No, no, you can't message me. So like these boundaries, you know, it's like this double-edged sword where you open yourself up to stuff like that, but then at the same time, you have all this great influence to impact so many lives. Like the other day on Instagram, I was working out with my nephews. They were like, "Oh, I want to work out." I was like, "Cool, we're gonna work out," and I put them through the ringer. Put them through the ringer, and I was like, "You know what? Let me post some of this stuff." And my whole idea of posting us working out was just like to inspire other people to work out, to maybe get other people that have nephews to be like, man, I could take my nephews out and we do some kettlebell swings or jog around the block or something like that. Don't don't roll your
What
eyes.
a great time to be had,
but
John.
but
Great
that
time to be
just that idea, just the idea of like, hey, get out, go take your son outside, go take your nephew. Here's an idea, right? Anybody could do it. So those simple stories I posted got like 2,000 views on a story. So on a story, I put 5 stories up. They're like 2,000 views on a story. Each story, that's a lot. That's like 10,000 views on a story. And so, yes, parents do have access to you. Yes, it's there, but the influence that you might have too is great. Like you could influence and negatively, but on my set positively, like create, I think it just outweighs the positive outweighs the negative in my opinion, but there is a negative side to it, and I try to stay out of it as best as I could. People message me, they inbox me, and then some of them are some weird messages, and they wouldn't have that access to me if I wasn't on social media the way I am. So
My favorite is when they try to call my employer. I'm like, "Hi, I'm my employer." My boss is really tough on me.
yeah, yeah.
I think that, more so now after the pandemic than at any other time. And I think that education has changed in probably the past 5 years more so than it has changed in the past 20 combined,
Hmm.
20 to 30 to 40 combined. And I think that students and even parents, families are craving connection.
Hmm.
Um, and that's one of the things that I see in the classroom. But in my opinion, knowing the lingo that the students we're going to say, knowing the slang, because I'm on TikTok too and I hear it all the time. That kind of connection with students is so valuable. During the pandemic, I started playing Fortnite, just so that I could talk to kids about Fortnite. And the way that I can talk about Fortnite is as an adult, as a 4-year-old dude. The way I talk about Fortnite with students in school, no other adult can. Like, I don't think any other adult is able to. And so I think that social media is just another way of providing that connection. And yes, absolutely, you create those boundaries. Like, we're in class right now. We're not talking about TikTok. We're um, uh, heck no, I am not going to follow you. Like that kind of stuff. And so I think that definitely the connection is really important to the students. It's really important to the families. And lastly, I think that they can see what I'm doing over the summer, and more importantly, they're seeing that I'm human, that I am a human being and not just Mr. Glenn.
Yeah. Yeah, these are all
From a
good points. Go ahead.
from a
Go ahead, Mitch.
disability standpoint, the pandemic is not over. COVID is still killing people and disabling people, and long COVID is very dangerous. Just FYI, and I will get ripped to shreds if I don't say that. So that's one. Two, I think it's more than just the social media. Like, we went through an enormous trauma depending on like how long your district went and had that interruption of learning, and also people lost family members, and we all just kind of moved on. We all kind of like pretended like it didn't happen, right? And then things have been accelerated. Some things I talk about is when we entered virtual learning, districts all over the country opened ourselves up to lots of different programs like software that we didn't previously have, and those software companies got in there, right? They have a cat here. They saw an opportunity, and they got in there. Like, AI is like in all of our districts now. They're trying to like shove it down our throats and figuring out how to responsibly use different programs versus not. What is that changing for lesson planning? I've watched people have to talk them out of using like ChatGPT to not write an IEP, for example, because if you're putting all your kids' data in there, or like ChatGPT is not even meant for that, right? Like, or the cognitive destruction that we're experiencing of critical thinking because we're not using technology in a smart way. I was observing in a classroom last week, right? And it's 5-year-olds. I'm in a and I've taught 4-year-olds all the way to 26-year-olds. That's what I say, right? They're 5 years old, and they're all on like programs. They're all on software for like 45 minutes at a time, and it's not developmentally appropriate. And the teacher and the administrators do not even have like say in how much, like, they're told like, this is the program, this is the curriculum this year, this is whatever. This is happening all over. And so now I think it's starting to become really difficult. And when I talk to high school teachers, when I talk to college level university professors, they're like, we don't even know what to do anymore. We don't know what to do in terms of like writing, critical thinking, whatever. This current combo of generation of students, they've always had social media in their hands. They also have never really been taught responsibility or boundaries or limits or like whatever. For them, their life online is their life, as equivalent as IRL things, in-person stuff. Like, their brains are shaping around experiences that we did not have. I didn't have a phone until like I was, I think, in high school. Like, and I definitely didn't have a smartphone until I started teaching.
I think I was 25. I think I was 25.
I like
Volunteer. Yeah, no, and even then, the cell phone in college was a brick phone that I could only call on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You weren't like, you know what I mean? You weren't. We didn't have apps. What the hell was an app? Like, it was like whatever.
It was
And
Snake.
Yeah. And so I think it's just very interesting because now I hear a lot about like iPad kids and I hear about whatever, but like collectively as a society, there was a big shift that happened between 2020 and 2021 in the entire country of like, we saw virtual learning and we started integrating a lot of these programs into our regular curriculum. And now you have a technology specialist at your district, or you get told to use this program. You as a teacher only have so much say in how much you can change course there. Like, this is the expectation. Things are becoming really rigid. And the fact that now you're being told you have to use a scripted curriculum, like, you are having less and less say in how much you actually get to input your own expertise, differentiation, like all your spin on things because you know your kids best. It's a very weird time in education. Our kids are experiencing an education that is very, very, very different than their parents' experience. Like,
And
different
us,
eons.
us too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of
Well, I
them,
would say
some
like
of us,
we're like
even
the age
as
of their parents, right?
teachers, even as teachers
Yeah,
who've been
true.
doing this for, over, I mean, I started doing, education type stuff in like the early 2000s. And uh, like the change from then until now, even as a person who is facilitating the education, my experience is completely different. And it's hard to adapt. It's hard to adapt.
Yeah, yeah. When you said administrators don't have, they can't change. We can't. This is the X amount of time that we're supposed to have students use this program. There's a set amount of time. This is what you have. Everybody has to do it this amount of time, this amount of days at this time. And I question that. Like um, I feel like when I was growing up, um, I probably didn't read one book. I probably didn't read one book in high school. From
Same, same.
Yeah, from like middle school. I didn't middle school to high school. I probably didn't read one full book. Right. I don't know how my education was probably pretty terrible. Is it a bad thing that they're on the devices that much? Will they learn more? Will they learn more than what I have learned in high school? Will they have read more books? My high school experience, no joke. My high school, I barely got by in high school. I didn't listen to a damn thing my teacher said. I didn't read any books, and I got through it. I passed through it with a C, and I don't know what I learned. It kept me from when I went to, I guess, college. I felt like I was way behind everybody else because of I didn't read anything. These kids are on these programs. We're gonna find out. It's like an experiment. It's like an experiment, and how are they gonna turn out in 12 years?
We're already finding out, though, is my argument. I hate
Mm-hmm.
to say this. We're already finding out because if you talk to higher ed folks, and I don't want to, I want to make sure Laura can talk. I don't want to talk the whole time, but they're quitting. Like professors are like, I give up on teaching them how to write. They are using AI for all of their essays. They don't know what good research means. They think research means Google, which we also see on social media. People like, well, I did my own research. I'm like, you did a Google. You don't know what research means.
You watch
Yeah.
TikToks.
You watch TikTok and you think that was research. So we are already seeing a scary decline in a lot of different areas that I think I'm very concerned about, just to be really honest.
My
I'm
friend,
sorry, Laura, go ahead.
sorry, my friend is doing his doctorate in NYU, and he's actually an adjunct professor. And we've talked about, um, shout out to Kevin. we've talked we've talked a lot about higher ed and how it has shifted, and he sees it in his classes that he teaches, how they literally are just, he's like, they're not even trying to make it seem like it's not AI, because like I feel like our generation, we were very like, so I don't know about you guys, but
Like
I was
sneaky? Oh, I was
like
sneaky.
sneaky,
Yeah.
like you got the good grade, but it's like, I don't know how I got, it's fine. I got the good grade, but we made it, we tried to make it seem like it was our own work, but these, they're not even, and that takes critical thinking. You have to think critically to like, make it sound like it's
Critique.
not, it's your own work. They're just turning in straight from Chat GPT onto their college
But but
aside, even
but
though it's
then
like a policy.
my question though is a paper on rock formation that important?
Yeah,
Is
no.
a paper on something that doesn't matter to you, a 10-page whatever it is, research paper on volcano, whatever, you took geology, you took astronomy, you took whatever it is. I remember having to write a paper on rock formation.
Mm-hmm.
For what?
Or
I
what?
Is
think
it,
you had really crappy education, John. I'm just going to be honest with
I'm
you.
I
sorry.
know I had. I said that earlier,
I know,
but
I'm
still,
echoing you. but it's not about the rock formation. It's learning how to do research. It's learning how to write. Because when you learn how to write something, you also understand how to interpret and analyze what someone else writes. So when education is done well and you were failed and you deserve so much better and like you are brilliant as an adult, like you were always brilliant. Do you know what I mean? You've gone on to do amazing things. But the point of really good education is not giving kids rote stuff to just make them like move through the motions.
Agree.
It's
Agree.
like I think that's kind of like really an extreme polar opposite example. Like I agree that sounds hella boring. Why would I do that? But giving kids the tools to understand how does someone get to an argument? How do you debate based on facts? How do you analyze if something is correct or just hearsay? How do you understand your own boundaries with what you engage in? Like there's so many skills that I think we have kind of assumed maybe that tech is just going to do, and they still exist because we're still human beings with brains, and developmentally they still need explicit human connection, to Eric's point, to grow those skills. They still need an adult to model things. They still need an adult to process things. They still need examples like AI. And I know people are gonna be like, oh my God, you're just AI, get over it. It's like a calculator. It's not like a calculator. We have the research that shows it's not like a calculator, besides the fact that it's disproportionately hurting Black and brown communities, the fact that it's terrible for the environment, the fact that it's clearly just to steal all of our data and data farm us. Sorry, it's not really about better instruction for our kids, right? So when we talk about like our kids deserve better, which is like my big motto, our kids deserve better across the board. I think about when we're engaging with our kids, what you all do a good job at is modeling one, a safe experience online, right? You're not posting stuff that's unsafe. You're showing how to respond, and you're modeling the behavior you'd want to see in the adults that work with kids and also adults that find your content. But also in schools, you're modeling how to do these skills that ChatGPT can't do your job. I'm terrified that in 5 to 10 years,
Mm.
the educator role will be very, very different because of how things have accelerated without any guardrails, right? And we're all just gonna be babysitters of kids on laptops. And I go into classrooms all over the country, and I already see this happening. So, like, to be really honest with you, like, I'm in the scary boat. I'm in the scary boat. I'm gonna be honest about that.
For me, I'm for. Why are we echoing? Is it just me?
No, I'm echoing too.
Yeah. Is somebody's thing off? Let me see. Eh,
I don't hear an echo. It might be me then.
I think we're good now. Oh no, we're not. Are we all right? Anyway, I'm for AI. I'm a pro AI person. I think that it's a good thing. I think that it's not going to go away, and we need to find ways to use it appropriately. That's what I think. It's just not going to go away, and so I'm going to figure out a way to make sure that um, I find a way to use it appropriately. And I don't have younger kids. Laura, you could probably speak on this a little bit better than all of us can here. Your son
Hmm.
is gonna being raised on AI. How is that going? What is your take on all of this?
Well, with the technology aspect, he has an iPad that he gets to keep home. School sent it. He's in kindergarten. And he came home and he's like, Mama, you go to the cloud and then you click the robot. And then I was like, okay, let's go to the cloud and click the robot. And it was like Imagine Learning or something like that. And I was like, all right, cool. We go to the cloud and click. That tells me that he's using it at school. Um, he's into it, and he's always been like techie, I guess. One of his special interests, is technology, figuring out pressing numbers. The other day we were buying something online, and he got the debit card and was pressing the numbers into the. I get lost reading the number. He was doing both things. I don't know how he did it. Again, and I feel like with him, it's like I'm almost seeing life in a different lens too, because the spectrum, right? It's so wide, it's so broad, and it's amazing. I've learned so much through him, and just I don't even know. With the AI, I am for it. I agree with John. Like, I feel like it's not going anywhere. And the best thing we can do is to teach our kids how to use it responsibly. Like,
Mhm.
I feel like in the classroom, I have yet to figure out how to use it, implement it with my kids.
Mhm.
Um, but a lot of our assignments, writing stuff, is done paper pencil. I
Yeah.
am like, we watch videos, we do all the media, we do all the audios, we watch all the things, but it's like, all right, now we're gonna do like a brain dump. Let's put it all on paper, and then we write, we revise on paper. My kids hate it. Oh well, figure it out. I don't know what to tell you, but I feel like there's still a very I you need to find balance. And as a teacher, I love technology. I'm currently enrolled in a second master's degree for technology and instruction, and I love it. Like, I love what I'm learning, and anything tech, give it to me. I will figure it out. Like, before the training, I will know how to use it. And it's just, there has to be a balance. Like, I love doing a good paper pencil assignment, but then I also love a good online assignment that's engaging. Those programs, though, we still have to do those. And yes, I just tell my kids, we just have to do it. Just log in and do the thing, please. And you know
Yeah.
but I'm
I
all
have this thing called Plod Note. You heard of Plod Note? It takes anyway. So Plod Note is this thing you attach to your phone, and it's like a device to record audio, and then it sums it up for you. Right, Plod Note. There's sometimes there's YouTube videos where really want to watch it, and they're like 45 minutes long, whatever. And sometimes I'll just leave my phone or the Plod Note right there, and I'll let that thing play. I'll let it play, and I'll go do whatever, do whatever I gotta do. Come back, summarizes it, get the most important parts. Like, that's what that. It saves so much time. It's just
Well, I
I can
got a
read.
new laptop, and it has Copilot. It's through Microsoft, I think. And I plug in a YouTube video that was like 25 minutes long, and I was like, "Can you summarize the points?" And it like did
And this
it.
is why
And
it's bad for your brains. I could go on a whole.
I am
I,
sorry,
The
but
exact thing that you're
I
We're
saying.
just
have
proving
let
her
you
point.
down.
We're proving her point.
You're proving my point. But
so
you know what? Go off. But like, I'm like, sure. And to be clear, I think it's important that we distinguish between tech and AI, because those are not the same
Oh
thing.
yeah, yeah, true.
And we cannot legislate AI now for 10 years because of what they snuck in legislatively. So like, and they're using, and the last thing I say, and John, you can clip this out if you want to.
No, it's all
Judges,
went in.
okay, judges, I have attorneys that are one of the few specialists on AI that are training judges on how to figure out the metadata of AI generated screenshots and video, because now people are creating fake things and submitting it in domestic violence cases, and judges don't know to tell the difference between what's AI generated and what's not.
Mhm.
So maybe my perspective is also informed by like the fact that I run in outside of like outside of education stuff. I also run with like attorneys and activists and like
Yeah.
whatever. So sometimes I think my perspective is different. But what you're saying, I'm like, Anyway, Eric, you were gonna say something. Sorry.
yeah, no, I'm to be honest, like as far as students sitting in the classroom and on their screens, um, I did the math, and we are 80% pencil and paper and
Good.
20% screens
Good.
in our math classes. I mean, we're literally just writing things
Yeah.
on paper. Uh,
Good.
and
I
yes,
love a
we
good
have
math
one day a
notebook.
week where we have to do the iReady.
Mhm.
But like I give them one lesson to do of iReady a week, and that's it. And the kids love that. But the rest of the time is just doing lessons up on the whiteboard, and they're taking notes. I make it a point to try to keep kids off their screens as much as I can, and sometimes it's unavoidable. But 80% of the time I can avoid it. Uh, and and I feel like I can hear both what Mosh is saying and what Mr. Vergara and and Miss Vasquez are saying. Like um, I can kind of see both where it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, we probably should adapt, to the way education is going, and at the same time, like I really want students to think critically about what they're watching on their screens and what they're reading and how to decipher between an AI generated photo and a real photo, that kind of stuff. And and this is the last thing I'll say about that. As far as being a babysitter watching their screens, like I think this is where, as a teacher, connection comes in for me. Um, the and I definitely prioritize the connection that I have with students over the curriculum. And I think that's really important if education keeps on going the way it's going, because I make it a point to model, the things that I want students to learn in my class, and how to act in class and how to act around people and how to collaborate with people and things like that. And that's my goal, is to use that connection to model and mentor, and then teach math. Like
That's right. That's
if
On
right.
that
the
makes
side.
sense. Yeah, and then teach the math.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel the same way. I feel the same way. It was always about building good people. Let's build good people, and then I'm teaching math.
Yeah.
Let's teach character, and yeah, and then I'm teaching whatever other subject. But we're gonna be good people first, because in the end, I don't remember. Again, this is my poor education. I don't remember anything that my teachers taught me, but I do remember how some of them made me feel. Like they say, I do remember the connections I had with some of these people, and that mattered to me the most. So I think that those connections are the most important. Building
Yeah.
relationships with students with difficult behavior. That's what it is. That's what it's all about.
Period. Yes.
But it's good having everybody. I try not to go over an hour. It's good having everybody here. We already reached the hour mark, and it's
Part two.
hard to,
I,
you
I,
know,
could
it,
do, I could do this once a week. Maybe we should just do a live or something.
we could. I don't know how to. I wonder if we could do it live. That'd be
We
interesting.
could. We could absolutely do a multi-host live. I've done them.
Oh, on like TikTok,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah,
hmm
yeah.
Watch
We
out,
definitely.
my students will come in and
We're gonna need a mod
comment
or a couple
section.
moderators.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
we're
Because
gonna need some moderators. Mr. Glenn! Ah! Yeah.
That'd
I
be
will
funny.
have my finger blocking all of them.
That's
that's
funny.
that's the moderation, Laura, is we
Yeah.
just block everybody.
That we just
Well,
do it.
again, thank you guys for being on the podcast. It was a pleasure to have you guys and hear everybody's perspective. And I'm glad that we didn't all agree on everything, and that's a good thing. And we're still here. We're not fighting each other, and yeah, we're all good. But thank you guys.
Thanks
Thank you
for
for
having
having
us.
Thank you.